A lot of us are ready to forget the Bills' awful ending to the season with yesterday's divisional round playoff beat down by the Bengals. But we should at least take a little bit of time to maybe process the loss and more so talk about how to move forward. So joining us live, maybe for the last time this season, is Vic Carucci, our Two on Your Side Bills insider. Vic, let's start here with a little bit of what a very subdued Josh Allen had to say. He cleaned out his locker today, took a few questions from the press. Listen to Josh.
We got to play better in the later parts of the season. We got to find a way to peak at the right time, in the playoffs. So, again, a lot to look at, a lot to learn from and grow from, and we're going to continue to, keep working on things.
So, Vic, how do we get from being hands-down Super Bowl favorites, that blowout win against the defending champs in Week 1, all of that early promise, to almost losing to the Dolphins and then getting blown out by the Bengals?
Yeah, look, a hype machine drove a lot of that, and I will raise my hand. I was as much a part of that hype machine as anybody, but believing that the team, where it left off in the divisional round last year at KC, but for those fateful 13 seconds, had everything ingredient-wise to be a Super Bowl contender, a strong one. And then you add Von Miller. And there's a lot of reason to look at the young talent, to certainly look at Josh Allen's progression. But as the year went on, those challenges increased. And yes, they were winning, and they had a nice winning streak going on up to the point of yesterday. But you could tell it was starting to take a little bit of a dip in terms of the level of performance, and to play basically one of your worst games in not just in the season, but in many years on that stage was pretty hard for people to swallow.
We were already depressed, and then you brought up 13 seconds, Vic. I'd forgotten about that. A lot of the focus now shifts, to the offseason, all these unrestricted and some restricted free agents, who the Bills will get to keep, who in some cases they just won't be able to afford. Who are you keeping an eye on moving forward?
Yeah, Michael, there's going to be some addressing of this roster in multiple ways, in ways that one would say, well, they're a strong team, so how much change does there really have to happen? But there will be some changes. And keep an eye on Jordan Poyer at safety becoming a free agent. Tremaine Edmonds. You can't keep everybody in this group. Devin Singletary. I mean, the list is going to grow in terms of players who are reaching that contract point. And it'll be interesting to just see how Brandon Beane manages all that while also, building or backfilling the rest of what needs to be done. You can't leave this team status quo. That offensive line needs work. That defensive line needs work beyond just saying, well, Von Miller will get healthy and everything will be fine. It isn't that simple. Yeah,
finally, Vic, I want to ask you about coaching. A lot of fans, myself included, were pretty critical of how the Bills prepared and then managed that game yesterday. Here's head coach Sean McDermott asked about his coordinators today.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into staff right now, Jay. I just obviously, not even 24 hours past yesterday's game, so I'm just, like I said, finished with the exit interviews with the players, and we met as a team.
So, Vic, I've only got about 30 seconds left. Do you anticipate any major coaching changes?
I don't know what level we call major, but it would be hard for me to believe that Sean isn't going to take a hard look at what he has on this staff and decide, what to do from there. They were severely out-coached yesterday, and you just can't ignore that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Vic Carucci, our Bills insider. It's been a heck of a season, Vic. Always great to have you on. We'll see you tonight on Sports Talk Live.
Thanks, Michael.